Hi, ladies. It's Angela here. Thank you so much to everyone who's a member of this group. I'm so happy to have you here. For those of you that don't know me, I may not look like it now, but I am a healthcare professional and I am a certified functional medicine practitioner. I do work primarily virtually with women all across the world, North America primarily, but I work with women in Europe, Australia, New Zealand, all over the place. And I absolutely enjoy working with every female that wants to learn how to rebalance their hormones and really their overall health through natural strategies that are highly customized, which is really, in my opinion, the only way to get on track with your health both now and for years to come. Women, as they get into their 40s and 50s, there's a lot going on. Hormones are shifting and changing. Estrogen and progesterone are declining. Many women opt for hormone replacement therapy. BHRT is what everyone's talking about now, bioidentical hormones. And many women that I work with have gone to different practitioners before they've worked with me, and they're already on these hormones. And some women find they're having some great benefits from it from a symptom management perspective. A lot of women report that they are sleeping better, they have a little bit more energy, they feel a little bit more balanced with their moods, they're just generally a bit happier, more vibrant, they feel a bit more like themselves. But there's also a lot of women that I work with that are also on this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy who are not necessarily feeling all of those things. I'm thinking of a particular woman that I'm working with right now, and she is struggling with brain fog, memory concerns, weight gain, and she's also having issues with her immune system. She's always getting sick. She seems like she can't fight off any sort of virus that comes into the house when her family members are out in the world. She's always the one to catch it, and she's always the last one to get better. It really was a puzzle for her. She said, I'm doing all the things. I'm eating an anti-inflammatory Mediterranean style diet. I prioritize exercise. I meditate. I don't eat junk food. I don't eat sugar. But a couple things that came up for her for sure that she knows she needs work on. And that's the amount of stress that you're managing and how you're managing it. We live in a very fast-paced world. Many women are busy, busy, busy all the time. So much going on emotionally, physically, mentally, tasks to do, the never-ending to-do list. Many women are really quite stressed out and they're quite out of balance in this area of their health. And that certainly can impact things. So for this particular person, because we ran labs, it was her cortisol levels, which is cortisol is our hormone that is our primary response to stress. Her cortisol was through the roof high, like 20 times higher than the high norm, which is very unhealthy because high cortisol like that is very pro-inflammatory throughout the body, at the tissue level, the muscle level, the organ level, the brain level. So, we know that we need to get stressed down when we have readings that high. We have to take a really hard look at our life and think, okay, if I don't slow things down, something's going to slow things down for me. I'm going to develop a health condition or a disease process that's going to force me to slow down. So, sometimes we have to just be brutally honest with ourselves. I know I was on that trajectory. I was working all the time, managing my family. I had a very busy practice. I had a long wait list. I was always squeezing people in and really catering to their needs versus mine. I always wanted to help them. That's what I love to do from a health perspective. But it got to the point where it was so out of balance that I wasn't taking care of myself. And there was a major health crash and I had to do something about it. So I had to slow down my work. There was no choice. And so we want to not have people get to this point, but it's not uncommon in the world we live in today. So I'm just going back to her as an example with her symptoms and how she was dialing in all the lifestyle strategies outside of managing her high stress, busy life. That was an area she still needed to work on from a lifestyle perspective. But outside of this, she didn't know what else could be possibly the problem for her as far as, again, weight gain, severe brain fog, memory concerns. She thought it was the low hormones, but then she went on to bioidentical hormone replacement therapy and it didn't really fix those symptoms. She felt like she was more rested when she woke up. She was able to get to sleep more easily. But other than that, all the same symptoms were still there. So we had to go diving a little deeper. So we did a lab test called a tox test. It's an environmental toxin test that looks at several 173 different toxin sources that could be trapped in the body. For her, there was a scale of how severe the toxic load and burden could be in her body. There's mild, moderate, and severe. And she was in the high, moderate, low, severe category. So just on that edge there. She had a fair amount of toxin load built up in her body. Keep in mind too, by the time we get into our 40s, 50s, and beyond, these toxin loads didn't just show up yesterday. They've been building in our body for 10, 20, 30, 40, maybe even 50 plus years. So what did she have? She had a very high reading on 2 pesticides. She was very high in BPA as well, which comes from our plastics. She was very high in parabens, which comes a lot from cosmetic use. And she said at this point in time, she's really reduced all of that stuff. She's in her early 50s now, but she said, recognizing there's probably been a buildup of that over a long time. She also had a big heavy metals buildup in her body. So she was very high on aluminum. And she said she thinks that might be due to deodorant use. She said she used to use antiperspirant until about 10 years ago when we really discovered that it wasn't good for you. We have to trace back the sources as to where we could have these toxin loads coming from. Plastics are everywhere in our environment. She had a buildup of also something called MTBE, which is a gasoline additive, which is in so many things. It's even in our water table, our water sources. And all these things, what they do is they slow down detoxification in the body, and they really impede our liver and our gut health function. So our liver and our gut are our biggest detox organs. Our liver and our gut more so than the liver, but the gut is highly responsible for our nutrient status. So even if we bring in this amazing diet, lots of vegetables, lean, healthy proteins, we're rotating our diet, having good variety, we're not eating junk food, bringing it in is one thing. Being able to absorb, it's called assimilation, being able to absorb and use those nutrients is quite the other. So for her, we found out that actually she was very nutrient depleted, which just baffled her because of the nutrition that she upheld in her daily diet. She had leaky gut. A lot of those nutrients were not being absorbed in the intestines to be used in the cells for fuel. They were spilling out into the bloodstream, and she was not being able to utilize a lot of those nutrients for fuel. So that's part of the reason she was fatigued and had a lot of brain fog, because she wasn't getting a lot of nutrition to her brain. She said, I eat those omega-3 fats, I eat fish, I live on the coast, I make sure that I'm prioritizing healthy nuts and seeds, healthy oils, which is fuel for our brain, but she was very depleted still in the omega-3s. We tested this level as well. You can test this on a blood test. And again, she was just absolutely baffled, but it had nothing to do with her lack of nutrition. It had everything to do with inflammation, one of the contributors. That toxic load that was circulating probably for years and years and years and building was also causing inflammation, fueling endotoxic load, and actually also destroying that gut lining even further. And also that toxin load destroys a lot of our beneficial bacteria in our gut. And that is one of the main places that houses our immune system balance. So it actually made sense to me why she was getting sick all the time too. She just didn't have enough good microflora in her gut to defend when bacteria and viruses came at her from the outside world. So we had to do a complete overhaul on her gut, her liver. We had to do different forms of detoxification to help her get rid of these metals, these phthalates, these parabens, the BPA. So there is some very specific detox protocols that we can use to help the body get rid of a lot of this toxic load and burden. And then there's also things we can do to be highly preventative of this stuff continuing to enter, especially at high amounts. We can't completely evade the world that we live in. We're going to be exposed to some toxins no matter what, but there are some things we can do. We can definitely reduce the amount of toxins coming in on our skin. Females are notorious for this, bringing in products in our hair, makeup, skin, all that kind of stuff, dyes on our hair, nail polish, you name it. She also had detox genetics. So we had to actually figure out that she was not efficient. She was missing actually some of the enzymes that help to actively detoxify in the liver on a daily basis. So we gave her some strategies. We said, well, you've got to get your liver working for you because it's naturally not as efficient because you're actually missing some of the enzymes that support liver detoxification. So we had her get into a sauna 3 times a week. So sweating actually helps take a toxin load out from the liver. We had her also start to do some other exercise that promoted sweating. So a little bit more cardio versus she was just doing heavy weights. And she said she wasn't really breaking a sweat when she was doing that. So we had her adapt that from a lifestyle perspective. We also had her take some liver detoxification herbal support. So she was drinking some teas that helped her liver to detoxify on a daily basis. And then we had her support her gut health as well through bringing in, I actually just read this cool study on a lady who is still living. She's 117 years old, and her age looks to be almost 15 years younger than she actually is. But some of the keys for her is that she was eating a diet that was high in fermented food and a lot of beneficial bacteria from yogurts, kimchi, sauerkraut. She was eating it actually 3 times a day. So again, interesting, because what does this do? Obviously, it bumps up the beneficial bacteria in your gut, and it helps your immune system to defend and keep you strong and balanced and well. So we have to make sure that we're doing that in our daily diet. some people may not be that extreme, but we have to make sure we're bringing in fiber, we're bringing in fermented foods, we're bringing in the good stuff, and we're helping our body eliminate the bad stuff on a daily basis. For her, fast forward to where she is now, so that testing was done over 6 months ago. We've retested. She still has a little bit of that toxic load and burden in her body even 6 months later, but now she's on that low mild category. So she's going to do some daily mild detoxification to continue to get her body back into balance, and she's in more of a maintenance plan now. And how does she feel? Well, the brain fog is gone completely. She said she can focus, she can function again. She has her memory back, so she can function at work and in her everyday life tasks, which is huge when you live a busy life. She said she doesn't feel as tired, as moody, as sad all the time. She's lost 10 pounds. She said she didn't have a ton of weight to lose, but she did feel a lot better getting that 10 pounds off. And she said she recognized that a lot of that was probably just toxic load burden and inflammation in her body, because it's not like she adjusted her calories that much. So, fast forward 6 months later, she's feeling pretty close to herself again. She's still got a little bit more rebalancing to do, but this can happen for you too. So if you feel like you're struggling in that perimenopause, menopause transition or beyond, you may be in your late 50s, you may be in your 60s, you may be 10, 15 years out from that menopause transition. But if you feel like you're struggling with energy issues, brain fog and function issues, focus, memory concerns, if you feel like you're still gaining weight, some women I know even 10, 15 years out from the menopause transition are still having hot flashes, temperature fluctuations, flushing. We've got to take a deeper look as to what's happening in your body, where there could be the potential imbalances in your gut and your liver. These are really the organs and the systems in our body, our immune system and our detoxification system, that govern our whole health. Hormones are our communicators and our messengers. They're big players, but they're not the biggest ones. They'll help the hormones to stay balanced and functioning, but they're not going to fix a deep problem with detoxification and immune system imbalance. We've got to go deeper. So if you're interested in this, if you're wondering why you're not feeling balanced in your body, a flag for me often is when women have side effects as soon as they go on to HRT. Depending on the form that you have coming in, you are also relying on your liver and your gut detox pathways to take on those hormones. So if they're really out of balance, often women won't take on those hormones very well at all. So sometimes I tell women, you need to get those other systems of your body back into balance before you can potentially take on some HRT and have it benefit you. But either way, if you want to understand what's going on in your body, if you feel like you're not quite where you want to be with your health, or maybe you're really not where you want to be yet, and you want to learn first what's going on in your body, and that's what I do with them. And I help them run labs to understand what's going on in their bodies. That's the first step. If we don't know what to do, we don't know what's going on. So we've got to first learn what's going on. Then we develop a customized strategy for you that is lifestyle based. It's not based on bringing in prescriptions, but it's highly customized, which is what makes it effective. And then if you want to learn how to adapt that plan for the long term so you can continue to improve your health as you get older, maybe you live into that centenarian age group, that 115, 117 plus, and not just surviving, but thriving, but feeling well, feeling like you can accomplish what you want in your life, regardless of the number every time your birthday comes around. Please feel free to reach out to me. I am almost 50 now. I'm definitely healthier than I was in my 20s and 30s. I've still got work to do on my health every day. We all do. But there is ways to get the balance back in your body and feel like the best version of yourself again, regardless of your age, regardless of if you are in the perimenopause, menopause shift. Don't believe that it's all downhill from here. There's ways to get the balance back in all these areas and really feel like the best version of yourself. So again, thanks so much to everyone who is a member of this group. We are a group of over 7,000 women that I think are all working towards a common goal, which is to learn how to rebalance our hormonal health and our overall health naturally through functional medicine strategies. I'm a healthcare professional, functional medicine practitioner. I have been working in the field of women's health for most of my career. We're going into almost 25 years now. And I have an absolute passion for helping females learn how to rebalance their hormones and their overall health naturally. So feel free to reach out to me anytime. You can DM me here through Facebook, through my private profile. You can also go through my business profile, which is on my Facebook business page, Angela Simpson Functional Medicine. If you want to send me a message there, reach out, let me know what's going on for you. I'll let you know if I think I can help, and we'll set up a complimentary consult. You also can feel free to go to my website, www.angelasimpsonfunctionalmedicine.ca, and there is a place there for you to book that free complimentary initial consultation where we would talk about your health, talk about your top concerns, your symptoms, your goals, and if I might be the right person to work with you to help you optimize your health for the long term. If you feel you're ready to take those steps, you're ready to dive in, really figure out what's going on in your body, do the right labs, and really follow through with a customized plan, I'd love to help you. Thanks so much, ladies. Make sure too, if you have friends or family members, females, ideally, this is a group for females, not your husbands. I do sometimes work with the husbands, but for the most part, this group in particular is for females. So tell your friends, tell your girlfriends, your aunt, your mom, your daughters, anyone that you think could benefit from learning how to rebalance their hormones naturally by joining this group. Make sure you suggest it. I'm happy to add them. Take care. Bye for now.